where your attention goes, there your energy flows. Perhaps it is more accessible to understand all of this talk of chakras, kundalini, and such from the perspective of energy, of attention, of focus, of preoccupation. What proportion of your consciousness, of your awareness, is occupied or taken up with a certain theme or topic? Certainly we can understand that the animal nature, man's animal presence, survival, can be correlated with the lower three energy centers of the human Adam Kadmon template. Now, admittedly, except for my kundalini activation, which physiologically, what I can attest to with veracity under oath, what I testify to is the most incredible energetic force that had been released, yes, from the bottom of my torso, from the pelvis area, this force that coursed through my thorax, through my inner sushumna, through my inner channel, and just blossomed all throughout me. It was incredible. Now, that experience lasted some time, and I could go on and on about that and attempt to be poetic about it. Now, the other item that I can attest to under oath with veracity is the image, is the vision of this indigo purple violet laser flower that brought with it an immense joy of peace, of just incredible union. I mean, it was just the most blissful experience. It was the culmination, the capstone culmination of a very intense energetic experience. And so, but it literally involved me being inundated with this violet, indigo, purple vision in my mind of this purple violet laser flower. Okay, so other than that, I don't have experiences with chakras in the sense that, I see chakras or I see energy vortices. I am very intuitive. And with further disclosure about who I am and my experience and such, I have used in the past, in very, very distant past, high school era, consciousness enhancing agents of the psychedelic classification. Anyway, and I bring that up because my initiation into all that, I remember the person who was providing this agent, this psychedelic consciousness enhancing agent. They were saying, oh, you're going to see all this stuff and you're going to see this and that. And, I kind of listened to it with a grain of salt. But somehow intuitively, I just knew not to get distracted by the visuals. And intuitively, I had this understanding that this was going to be a poetic experience of consciousness. And it was. And I did encounter initially the visuals. I ignored them. And I went on to have a very profound spiritual, poetic experience is the only way I can describe it. I mean, one part of that episode involved, if you have seen this movie, Altered States with William Hurt, where he's in a sensory deprivation tank and he regresses back in time. Well, I was experiencing things like this, okay? I wasn't getting caught up in the purple Santa Clauses or any of that. No, I was regressing back in time, and I was having these very powerful ontological, spiritual experiences of consciousness expansion. And that was all the way back in high school. But anyway, I believe that I don't necessarily access the esoteric visually, at least at this point in my development, but I understand things intuitively. And yesterday when I was making this video about the Kundalini and the chakras, I felt a little disingenuous, providing the information, showing the way the Ida, the Pingala, and the Sushumna, and all this, and the color chakra vortices and all this. And, I can't say with any veracity under oath that, I see these things or I know these things. I do know that the Kundalini power is very real. I do know that whether it was my third eye chakra or the crown chakra, I strongly suspect it with my crown chakra, because after that, I was getting all of this information downloads, which only can happen with the crown chakra being connected to the galactic chakra for cosmic consciousness expansion. And beyond that, I also had the distinct impression that there was another presence along with my lower animal presence, that was witnessing reality, that was seeing reality, and it was having to integrate into this reality. And so that is the experience of intelligent infinity being downloaded into your human animal consciousness. And I try to figure out different ways to talk about this. This happened back in 2021. It's been very helpful for me to read Carlos Castaneda and this concept of the assemblage points and energies and your focus, and how what you focus upon becomes your reality. And in this image here, we see a human figure, and you can kind of see different colors and whatnot. And these are kind of arranged in a more of a egg shape, more of a circular, but this is more reality than this vertical linear kind of thing with the chakras. I mean, that's true to an extent, but when you understand that these energies come about with your focus, and most people are only focused on, their survival, sex, attracting a mate, or, they're promoting their ego through materialism, and the energies never really go above the solar plexus up into the higher heart, where the Bifrost Bridge is, into Valhalla, into these higher energy realms. And so it's beneficial for me to try to find different ways to relate this information to people that they can relate with, and try to help, get everything back on track for this world, and fulfill what I believe to be my mission, which is, spreading knowledge, as Vasamazulu Baba Credo Mutwa pronounces the word knowledge, the great Zulu shaman. But you understand that states such as the desire for comfort, greed, gluttony, arrogance, covetousness, vanity, and 1,000 other impassioned states are those which govern as Lord and Master this microcosm which we call man, or Terran, the third dimensional individual trapped within these lower three chakras, which the Illuminati are masters of, which they are masters of exploitation and keeping people sort of atrophied in stasis at these lower energy levels, these lower qualities of consciousness. But the I, your sense of I, your consciousness self, your ego, if you will, which should be the master of the individual, is displaced by various desires and psychic and instinctive states, which take possession of and govern the complex machinery, which is the body, or the vehicle of the soul, your genetic vehicle. Man does not have only one eye, but thousands of different eyes, which follow one after the other like a kaleidoscope, constantly changing in its design. Each one of these eyes usurps the throne or scepter, which belongs to the legitimate and authentic eye, your divine eye, your throne of God eye. This divine eye is like a king constantly being dethroned and imprisoned by his subjects. One who has felt a sort of inner pain of being alive has felt at that moment the suffering of the I, which is your Atman even, is constantly being displaced as the director of its microcosm. We can compare man to a mansion full of servants who fruitlessly await a master who never arrives. Each one of these servants endeavors to usurp the throne until he in turn is displaced by one stronger than he, who will also in turn be expelled. This is the terrible emptiness or weariness of life, which is so common in our time. It is the I that suffers intensely and does not want to continue living under such adverse conditions. If this situation continues for too long, the I, our soul, your Atman, may leave the body, transforming the individual into the living dead, because only the remaining animal or instinctive condition will maintain life within his body. Man, contrary to popular opinion, has none of those qualities which we call consciousness, personality, liberty, or free will, since all his decisions are the product of manipulations, exploitations, automatisms, or external influences. Life for him passes in a twilight state of a sleep-induced, sleep-caused, somnambulistic caused by this constant changing of eyes. Man is asleep, the sleeper must awaken. We are all fully aware of what hypnotism means, but we have never really considered that it can be practiced collectively and simultaneously on all humanity by the planetary forces that seek their own benefit at the expense of human self-determination. These planetary forces endeavor to keep humanity asleep, so that it never sees truth and reality. From birth until death, the individual lives in the deepest of sleeps, and everything that happens to him is dreamt. He believes that he is awake, but he is only dreaming, dead but dreaming. He believes he is free, but he is only dreaming of freedom. He believes he has a will of his own, but only dreams it to be so. Consciousness does not exist for the common man, since he is a perfect, complete machine. Only when man recognizes his mechanical state is there a possibility of his obtaining freedom, will, and consciousness. Man does nothing under his own initiative. Everything simply happens, just like the rain, the rising of the sun, the whirling or calming of the wind. He reacts exactly like a machine in all circumstances, and upon receiving an initial stimulus, he carries out a work which was previously known and programmed in him. Yes, programmed by your dark controllers, but now is the time when the sleeper must awaken. Take responsibility. But one individual, and this is all highly important because your quality of consciousness, your perspective, your inner state at the moment of when you leave this dimension will determine the quality of what your experience will be. Where your consciousness is now will take you either to staying in the old earth or the new earth. But at the time of death, many people are leaving this planet now. And unfortunately, most of them are leaving in fear. But the healing, this God force healing energy, this sacred fire, requires activating high frequency energy. And that is what I merely try to project, to share, provide perhaps from one electromagnetic system to another, this higher God force energy. And so anyway, I wanted to kind of circle back around and talk about, the Kundalini, the God force, and these energies, and give it a little bit more of a perhaps accessible definition about, how this can be understood if someone doesn't necessarily have any experience or background with these concepts, these higher concepts. But, essentially, when I make decisions now, and as I've been bringing heaven further to earth, of integrating my soul into my personality, which has changed quite a bit, but I understand things from the perspective, my actions, what I invest my energy in, what I give my attention to. Is this going to further me along the path of what I intuitively know to be my goal? But I look at this with awareness. It's my actions, or any actions, or what my focus is at any time, going to progress me steadily towards this ultimate goal. And that's what you can understand with your assemblage points, or you can understand it as a law of octaves, from a musical standpoint, as a universal law. And according to this spiritual law of success, every process we undertake is either on an ascending octave that is helping us to progress, or a descending octave that is causing us to regress. And that is the same thing that is happening with ascension right now. Is part of humanity is progressing, ascending, evolving. Those who are open to these new energies of disconnecting from the lower ego, from the fear of separation, all that stuff, and embracing these higher energies. But unfortunately, there will be others that'll kind of stay in they'll stay on their lane, and they'll go to another third dimensional planet and carry out. But here on this planet, we're rising. Namaste, namaskaram.